Female comedian, Master Tiff.
Woo! Yeah.
Mike this time.
I think that's it. He needs it up.
All right. First of all, I just want to give it up for the unknown singer. Like, he was fucking selling it. Did you guys see that sweet ass choreography that he put into his bit? And he fucking jazz hands. He was full on. That was pretty amazing. Although I will admit that it is kind of ironic to watch a guy in a leprechaun hat with a bag over his head sing a song about why he doesn't understand his girlfriend is leaving him. Well, you know, it takes all kinds. Also, just to let you know what kind of show this is going to be eventually, as he was performing, my husband leaned over and whispered to me, "I think I have a new fetish." So later I too will be wearing a leprechaun hat and a bag on my head. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm Master Tiff, which I call myself because I actually have a master's degree. And I don't know if anyone here knows anyone that has like a PhD or a doctorate. But even if it's not in medical science, you like can't call them by their regular name anymore. Like if you try to introduce them to someone new and you just go, "Oh yeah, this is my buddy John," they'll get in there. They'll be like, actually, clearly you forgot. It's Dr. Smith now. I have a PhD in 18th century French literature. I actually wrote my dissertation on the early works of Voltaire and have transcended being merely John. So that's the kind of prestige I'd like to bring to the master's degree. It's probably the only thing I'll ever accomplish too. And also it just sounds cool. So if you try to introduce me to someone new, "Oh yeah, this is a Tiff." Clearly you've forgotten that's Master Tiff. Yes, I have a master's degree in professional writing, which is a field of study that does not technically exist. I wrote my thesis about a pop-fueled cross-country road trip that I took across this beautiful country of ours in the year 2010, and now I'm a line cook. So just try to recognize greatness when it is before you. Go to graduate school, they said. You can earn $60,000 a year, they said. It pays for itself. Well, I must have gotten a lazy degree because it hasn't paid for shit. In fact, my federal tax return has been confiscated the last 7 years in a row because apparently you can't not pay your student loans no matter how useless your degree turned out to be. You're here. So speaking of things that are failing other than me, you'll hear this a lot in the news, that the United States is falling behind in math and sciences education. And I can't help but wonder if it isn't because our entire system of measurement is still based on old wives' tales. You see, there are two predominant systems of measurement in the world. The first, which I will discuss, is known as the metric system. It's based on objective reality. Like some mathematicians got together, they said, this is point A, this is point B. In between, we're going to call that a meter. You cut that up into 100 equal parts, you got a centimeter. 1,000 equal parts, you got a millimeter. Put 1,000 of them together, you got a kilometer. Covers all your measuring needs, simple, logical, easy to remember. And when they invented this, the entire world rejoiced and spoke up with one voice and said, "Yes, we will adopt that as our measurement system." It's currently the system of measurement used by scientific theory and practice. But over here in the good old US of A and abroad in the UK, I don't want to leave our English cousins out, we still adhere to what's known as the imperial system. And the imperial system is based on whatever was laying around at the time. For instance, the foot, yeah, it's a foot. It's the dude's foot. That's what, dude took his foot out and was like, I need a board to cut a shelf. I'll just cut like 3 of these. Will that make a good shelf? Probably. But if you need something smaller than a foot, maybe you'll go to the inch. You don't want to like have to take your shoe off and look at your foot every single time and like divide that up into 12 equal parts instead of the more logical 10. Whatever. It was 200 years ago. They didn't care. So a little cheat for the inch is the average width of a man's thumb at the base of the nail. Although the king sent out, whoever was king of England in like 1824, sent out an official decree saying that if you want an accurate inch, you're going to want to get 3 guys. You're going to want to get a big guy, a little guy, and an average guy. Measure all 3 of their thumbs at the base of the nail, the width. Add it together, take that, divide it by 3, and that's your average, and that's an inch. Soup's easy. Soup's easy. You think getting shit done around your house is hard now. Imagine if you were 18, 21 and you had to find 3 guys before you could even, like, cut and measure.
What do they measure with?
Like other thumbs, I assume.
Because yeah, like those 3 thumbs. I'm trying to picture what if they didn't have measurement system. How did they
Like
measure
a piece
those?
of string that they found in their pocket.
Okay.
Be quiet, I'm still giving a history lesson. So when I first read this, actually, I thought that it said the length of a man's thumbnail. Instead of like, because I just read the nail part and I was like, all right, length, nail, got it, inch, boom, let's make some comedy. And I just like thought it was really weird that a bunch of farmers like 200 years ago had really long nails. I was like, what was that, like their coat nail? Like, do you guys know what a coat nail is? Was anyone here an adult during the 80s? Okay, if you were, you could back me up on this. During the years of 1981 to 1989, everybody did cocaine. Everybody did cocaine. They used to carry it around in necklaces. And most adults would like grow out one of their nails super long so they could dump the cocaine from the necklace into the nail and snort it out in public, just like that, anytime they wanted, at the club, at work, at home. It was just perfect for all of your cocaine needs. So if you've ever looked at anything that came out of the 1980s and wondered why did that happen, cocaine. Like, why does E.T. look like a giant turd? Cocaine. Who thought it was probably a good idea to give Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man who could barely say 3 words in intelligible English back then, an acting career? Cocaine. How is it that every several males between the ages of 21 and 35 could put on high heels, a literal pound of makeup, spend 45 minutes doing their hair, and still turn out to be total misogynistic douchebags? Cocaine. That was a dig on Motley Crue. Hey, Imperial System, I have this motor vehicle that I would like to keep the engine lubricated so that it will run for a long time. How much oil should I use for that? Okay, so you know how milk used to be delivered door to door in like these old-timey bottles? You're gonna need like 7 of those for some reason. So I haven't lived in Murphy for very long. I've actually been here 8 months. And my very favorite thing about this charming town by far is the radio station 102.7 WCNG. I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to listen to 102.7, but it is glorious and it is beautiful and I love every second of it. If you've ever been browsing the music section of a dollar store and thought to yourself, damn, there's some good tunes here, 102.7 is the radio station for you. If you've ever been listening to a song and thought to yourself, man, I really hope a commercial starts playing halfway through the song and then I get to listen to the song and the commercial for the next minute and a half, tune into 102.7 for longer than 15 minutes. Your dreams will come true. If you've ever been cruising down the road midday and just thought to yourself, I really just want to hear 12 random television theme songs in a row. Weekdays on 102.7. I'm serious, every day from 1 to 2 p.m. they play random television theme songs. It's amazing. You are not going to hear that shit on Clear Channel. This is a joke I wrote last night while driving around. Were you thinking to yourself the other night, you know what, it's been a really long time since I heard Colors of the Wind from Disney's Pocahontas, but not the version from the movie, the weird synth pop Vanessa Williams version that everybody forgot about. Tune into 102.7 last night at 11 p.m. Can y'all imagine if like Murphy had a strip club? I don't even have to say anything else because yeah, y'all totally can. You could finally find out what your son's fourth grade teacher's bush looks like. If Murphy had a strip club, you could see in graphic detail what pregnancy does to a belly button over time. And y'all know that pregnant stripper would make 3 times the money of all the other strippers because there are some freaks in this town. I have seen the corkboard at Intimate Treasures. The DJ would be announcing, coming to the stage, it's Sapphire. You'd just be sitting there going, Sapphire my ass, that is Julie Crisp, and I've known her since the 3rd grade. Also, I saw her tits yesterday. This is a ripoff. If there really is a person named Julie Crisp, I pulled that name out of my ass. I do not mean anything about Julie Crisp. I do not know her. Please do not tell her I was talking shit about her on stage. There'd be like one old ass stripper there named Cheryl. She used to work at the bank before she got into that meth You just go in there and watch her tits sag lower every year. Somebody starts putting lines on the stripper pole. But within 5 years, that line is on the floor. But Cheryl's real innovative, right? She just works it into her fucking routine. She gets a copy of Do Your Ears Hang Low. She gets her nephew that's been a DJ to edit in the word tits every time it says ears, and she just fucking rolls with it. Do your tits hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? That's what would happen at the Murphy Strip Club. Oh boy. So, I do have bad news for all the single people in the audience. I am married, as I mentioned previously. That's right, this sharp-witted ball of crazy is off the market. But I did spend some time in the dating scene, and I will tell you, it's fucking brutal. I lived in LA when I was dating, actually, and that's a little bit easier because if the encounter goes badly, you never have to see or encounter that person ever again. There's like 8 million people there. You really don't have to worry about it. I can't imagine, it's probably way worse here in beautiful rural Western North Carolina, because when you finally show up for the date with the guy that you swipe right on, it turns out that it's your old pot dealer from high school, and he's on meth now. Or worse, it's your old pot dealer from high school, and he's a cop now, and right away you're not compatible because you've been gaming county mental health services so you can sell Xanax out the back of the restaurant that you work at. Oh, I know. That cop you're about to bone knows too, so by all means, get your fuck on. But I have a lot of friends who are gamers, video gamers, and back when I was dating, I could really relate to a lot of the conversations they would have. Because to me, it was like very similar to like the process of going to like pick up a new game. You go down to the date store, pick up a new guy, you take him home, relax, recline into your favorite spot, you pop him in. Sometimes it goes great. 2 hours later, the old heart rate's up. You take a quick break to have a snack, refuel on electrolytes. Congratulate yourselves on a job well done, high fives all around. But sometimes it would not go that great. It was always like when there was the most hype about it too. Like you text him, he texts you, text him, you're like, oh man, I can't fucking wait to like meet this dude and like go on this date. And you go down to the date store, Starbucks. I just started calling it the date store after a while. You pick him up, take him back to your place, recline in your favorite spot, you pop him in. Roughly 30, 45 seconds later, pulling your hair out by its roots, screaming up to a deaf, blind God, why? What is happening right now? What is going on? Who programmed this thing? Before you just rip his dick off entirely, throw it across the room, retire to the old woods, water, masturbate furiously for 2 to 2.5 hours. Am I right, ladies? All the unsatisfied ladies in the house say, hey! All the guys sitting next to those ladies go, whoa, hey, wait. I'm satisfied. You right, you're satisfied.
No,
Wait.
Okay, you guys get it. Thank you. I've been Master Tiff. You have been wonderful. At Master Tiff1 on Twitter.